Hey, I'm Andrew. Welcome to the channel. I hope you like spooky van life tales. I know you do because you clicked on this one and you're in luck because I've got a good one for you today. This was one of the scariest moments of our 3 years living in the van, and it happened before we even hit month 4. Plenty of times before and during the build out, I researched places to park at night, as anyone does who's interested in van life. I asked, how do they stay safe parking out there on those streets? Where are the safest places to park and sleep soundly? This is obviously pivotal stuff if living in a van is going to be sustainable. What sort of self-defense recourse does the average van lifer keep? I should be armed, shouldn't I? Alternatively, sometimes our own fear isn't to be trusted. Maybe there isn't all that much to worry about anyway. Maybe the crime rates are lower than the news would have us all believe. Am I safer in a stealthy van where no one knows I'm inside? Or is it safer when it's obvious someone's sleeping in it, so thieves stay away? Your survival instincts won't let you avoid these crucial decisions, and it'll hassle you until you have a plan in place, like mine did. It's one of the first questions you ask when even considering van life, especially if you're a woman, and even more so if you're a woman going solo. But even most of us men aren't meat-headed enough to go in without a plan or some sort of self-defense. I found that I had to make peace with my fears. This was an issue that kept me up at night, even after I'd answered all of these questions satisfactorily. Because fear is based on our worldview, right? And if you believe the world is a crazy, scary place, then van life is only going to increase your neuroses. Maybe the world is beautiful and I've no need to be afraid. Maybe if I choose my parking spots wisely, then the likelihood of danger is so minimal that it's a waste of my thought life to obsess over it. Maybe humans are better than I've been led to believe. Or maybe that's what they call naivety. It was 4:30 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning, 2021. We had only been living in the van for 3 months at this point, and on this particular Thanksgiving morning, we were in our hometown for the holidays, parked at the end of my parents' court sleeping. You would think of all the places to feel safe, it would be on a secluded street that you're familiar with, where you know most of the neighbors. So my guard was down. Their court is located inside of a circle that's located inside of another circle that touches the main street over here. I didn't pause while parking to listen to my gut like I normally would, and I didn't survey my surroundings. I didn't feel any need to. I knew the area well. This was normally just a quiet place. In a dead sleep, I hear what sounds like something's being tinkered with on the outside of the van. After opening my eyes, it took less than a second for me to know what was happening. The sound of a gas cap being loosened was obvious to me. What else could it really be anyway? We don't keep any bikes or gear attached to the outside of the van. Mind you, the gas tank is located right next to the driver's door. So when I leapt out of bed, ran those few paces to the front, and looked out the window, the guy's head was right there and we were face to face. I banged on the window and yelled in a panicked tone, "Hey, get away." And it must have startled the hell out of him because my face is right there, like a foot away from him. You can hear me shuffling through the van and yelling that on the footage pretty clearly. I'll play you the full clip right now that we caught on our dash cam. I think that was the guy. It was the guy from the halfway house. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to break in. The guy took off running like a bat out of hell, looking back over his shoulder as he ran, worried I might be running after him. And I get it, given my proximity and sudden appearance, it must have given him quite the fright. Oddly, he ran out of the court from the opposite direction that he entered in, which you can barely see at the beginning of the footage. He took off running so quickly that I didn't even consider chasing after him. I was in MeUndies, anywho. Obviously, Heather's awake at this point too, so we started up the van to move across town to another relative's place. But then I realized his hose is still hanging out of my gas tank, and his 5-gallon gas can is still sitting on the ground, him having run away too quickly to grab it. I put my clothes on. I was really startled stepping out of the van, not knowing exactly where he ran off to. So I quickly grabbed the gas can, threw it in the van, and took off, too unsettled to realize that my gas cap was still off and open. I don't even think I realized that until we got across town. Oops. I'm not sure exactly how bad that is for your gas tank, to be honest. So we were pretty disturbed. Obviously couldn't go back to sleep. You know, was this whole van life thing a pipe dream, fool's gamble? Are we really going to endure the precariousness of this lifestyle? These questions really suck to be asking yourself after you've built the whole damn thing, but before the bulk of the adventure has really even started. And on the very court where I grew up, really? Like, if we're not safe there, then are we safe anywhere? Thanksgiving that year obviously was completely tainted by this experience. Every family member I interacted with that day had to endure the story, being that I was completely unslept and traumatized by the event. I'm sure I had them asking the same question that I was. Is van life safe at all? Is this freedom worth the trade-off? Surely Andrew and Heather considered this in the realm of possibility. The truth is, you don't really know living out on the road exactly what's going to happen. No two incidents happen the same. What if he hadn't run off? All you can really do is have a plan, park strategically, trust your gut, choose where to sleep wisely, with an easy path to drive away, and a self-defense recourse in the worst case scenario. It took a good month for me to begin sleeping well again. And it wasn't until I had a talk with a good friend on the matter, now a few weeks removed from the incident and able to think more objectively about the whole thing, that I found a more balanced view of the situation. Think of the life of a guy who siphons gasoline in order to save a few bucks on Thanksgiving morning. Think for a second about how shitty his life could be. Maybe he wanted to visit family out of town and couldn't afford to. Although I think it's more likely that he wanted drugs and didn't have the gas to go get them. When this happened, I was 3 years sober at that point. So in a way, I kind of understand the whole addiction, desperation mindset. Maybe I'm projecting, I don't really know, but I can't imagine it's a good life. And how much danger were we really in anyway? He wanted our gas, not our lives. I came to pity him. For a moment, I thought, you know, if he just asked me for 5 gallons of gas, I probably would have bought it for him. Not in the middle of the night, but you know what I mean. Poor guy. Thought he was going to get a ride to his dealer's house, and what he got instead was stained drawers. I had already kept a cold steel blade by my bedside, but I bought a gun later that month. I installed a locked gas cap on the tank, but it started popping an error code and I couldn't fix it, so I ended up having to take it off and put the old one back on. After all, I'd woken up when it happened, and I expected that I'd wake up again if it happened another time. I feel like I actually really woke up the moment he started feeding the hose into the tank, particularly. It's pretty clear to me that gas thieves aren't going to get away with that while somebody is sleeping in the vehicle. I even thought to myself that if it happens again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the window slowly and just creep up and get as close to him as I can and make a crazy ass face and just like lightly tap on the window and get his attention. So imagine him standing there right next to the window and looking up and just seeing this face. Film it too, like be holding your phone. That would be gold. You know what the irony is? This ended up being the only scary moment whatsoever in the entire 3 years that we lived in the van. I never even shot the gun that I bought. I had practiced on a different but similar model a few months previous, so I didn't feel any need to. I just stuffed some hollow points in it, practiced unloading and reloading it a few times, and left it at that. Over those 3 years living in the van, we parked numerous times on the side of the highway next to the coast. We'd parked deep in the wilderness, countryside. We parked on the street in front of random houses and residential areas countless times, and nothing like that ever happened again. We didn't so much as get a knock from a cop or a suspicious neighbor once in those 3 years.
My mom always said, life was like a box of chocolates.
It sure is, Forrest. And this particular chocolate was filled with gas. Not fart gas, gasoline gas. But the rest of the box of chocolates was pretty damn good. If you're considering van life, or if you're new to van life and looking for advice on where to park and sleep, I'd still say, despite this incident, that you're pretty safe to park anywhere as long as you're parked in a way that can be driven off quickly and easily. But some of the popular places to park are Planet Fatness or other 24-hour gyms. Some Walmarts allow it in select states and areas. And here's a good one. In business plazas, behind buildings that aren't visible from the street and aren't patrolled by a security guard. Don't tell anyone I told you. Although I found that as long as you don't park directly in front of people's houses, if you're gonna park in a residential area, you just park along like a stretch of fence and cover the windows right after parking and don't make a lot of noise. You're pretty safe to park in any residential area. And if you don't go drawing attention to yourself, 99% of the time, no one's gonna bother you. I wouldn't, I personally wouldn't. Most people mind their own business. And unless they're calling the cops and lying about the circumstances, I don't think most cops are gonna bother with reports like that anyway. In a lot of the areas we were in, it's perfectly legal to park a vehicle overnight. And we had blackout curtains, so I don't think anyone could really tell whether someone was sleeping in the vehicle or not. There were areas that we parked frequently, and none of the neighbors were even aware that we were sleeping in the van. They all thought we were sleeping in our family or friend's house that was there. If you're in van life and something like this happens, my advice is don't panic. Stay calm. Things do occasionally go wrong, but they're extremely rare. This moment didn't at all define our van life journey or experience. It didn't stop us from living some of the most adventurous, free, and visually satisfying years of our lives. If you've got a crazy van life story, drop it in the comments. If you found this story helpful or wild, give it a like, subscribe, because boy have I got a great next video for you. Prepare for everything to change and make it a peaceful rest of the day, because I love you. If you are liking my channel and you want more content from me, I also have a Minecraft channel that I just started called Meanderoo, where I uploaded my first Minecraft video. I also have a Minecraft channel where I'm uploading my Twitch live streams. That's Meanderoo2, TWO, and I'll put the links in the description. If you want to see some of my graphic art, I have an Instagram called Endless Eyegasm, where I upload a bunch of cool, edgy, punk kind of art. Check it out, you might like it. I love you. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.